Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the revolutionary new Remington Rolectric. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Franics.
And now a gentleman whose line I have been very familiar with for 11 years, my husband, Martin Gabel.
And on my left, the eclectic Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Ooh.
Thank you, Martin. And on my left, the erudite and ubiquitous Bennett Cerf.
Everybody connected with What's My Line, the panel, technical crew, the management, and the sponsors are very proud of the part played in the Emmy nominations last night by our own Arlene Franics and our leading, not to say misleading, news moderator and panel moderator, John Charles Daly.
And how nice to welcome this peripatetic panel to this night's program. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. And to penalize the panel for all those multisyllabic words, put on your blindfolds, please. Once again tonight, we're departing a bit from usual form. The panel is being asked to blindfold itself because we have a rather special guest with an area of identification that requires that the panel do a little bit of extra work. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger in just 1 minute.
Excuse me, sir, but would you like to have your Remington electric shaver checked absolutely free?
Well, my shaver works fine.
Of course it does. But like any precision instrument, it can work even better if it's given a regular, thorough cleaning.
Well,
For 1 week, starting March 4th, your official Remington factory branch service station will clean, oil, and adjust any Remington shaver absolutely free.
free, huh? What's the gimmick?
No gimmick. Remington just wants to introduce you to their fine service facilities, so how about it?
Thanks. Guess I'll drop my shaver off tomorrow morning.
Why don't you take or send your Remington shaver to one of the 130 official Remington factory branch service stations? They will clean, oil, and adjust it absolutely free. But remember, this offer is good for 1 week only, March 4th through March 9th, at one of the official Remington factory branch service stations. You'll find them listed in your classified telephone directory under Shavers Electric.
And now, panel, we're ready to meet our first contestant and challenger. Are your blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Will you come in and sign in, please? All right, panel, as I've already said, as you know, there is an area of identification here that is required you be blindfolded. It could be in the name, which has been duly signed on our sign-in board, or it could be some matter of costume or other identification. We do want to give you some help, and I'll give it to you in a minute. Do you know how we keep score?
I think so.
All right, fine. Then we'll let everybody at home and those who are with us here in the theater, first of all, know exactly what your line is. And now, panel, we'll give you some help. Our guest is self-employed, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Well, are we blindfolded, sir or madam, because one or more of us might recognize you by sight if we did not have these blindfolds on?
I think somebody here might know little old me.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable assumption, Bennett.
You are a gentleman, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
You're self-employed. Would you say that the self-employment is a profitable sort of employment?
I'd prefer to think it is.
What?
I said I surely would like to think so.
It is, though, is it not?
Yes, it is, Bennett.
Well, yes, I think it is.
Might it have anything whatever to do with the vast field of entertainment?
There's two schools of thought, but fortunately most people do think I am in the field of entertainment.
Would this form of entertainment be possibly the legitimate theater?
Well, I'd like to think it's legitimate. It's quite legitimate. It is very legitimate, I think.
Well, not to mislead you, Bennett, it is fair to assume that our guest could be, and indeed has been, active in the area of legitimate theater, yes.
Have you also been active in motion pictures?
Well, I'm really considered sort of an amateur at that.
That'll be the day. He is also considered to be very much in motion pictures.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to dispute that, dear boy, but I'm really not very much in motion picture because I haven't gone to bat very often. As a matter of fact, I don't think
I didn't hear that last. You haven't gone back very often, but what?
I think...
Is this a soliloquy
No,
you're
actually,
delivering?
our guest is making the point that, and perhaps with great modesty, that his present identification with the motion pictures industry is a recent one, and that we must not consider that he is long experienced in this area. But at the same time, so that you will not be misled, I will say again that he has an identification with motion pictures that is very solid.
I couldn't have said it better.
Would your connection with motion pictures be in the role of a producer or director?
I think you'd say so, yes.
Would it be producer rather than director?
Yes, I think so.
I can't get off. I apologize.
Should have been an actor as well.
Yes. Are you the producer of one of the great successful pictures of the current year?
Did you say year?
Yes. Yes, I did, if that gets me off. I
What
said
year?
This year. Currently being shown.
Well, that gets you right back on again. You're on. Currently being shown will cover the ground, yes.
It does cover the ground?
Yes.
He meant of all time. Bennett.
Yes. Would it be, by any chance, the man who was the producer of what will be the box office champion of the year and maybe of all years?
You mean who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's chow bell?
I am heading, not to drag this out, who I have in mind is the producer of the Ten Commandments.
Oh, Bennett! Now, one down and 9 to go, Miss Francis. Oh, my.
I would like to say that one of those commandments I want to remind the gentleman of at this moment, and that is, thou shalt not kill. Because I believe that this is the producer of the man that is going to make more money than is to be made on the Ten Commandments. A picture that is now in New York City. I don't know whether it's around the world yet, but it'll be around the world for much longer than 80 days.
Dear Bennett.
Mr. Cerf, Mr. Mike Todd has a small message he wants to deliver to you, and I know it includes the fact that you publish around the world in 80 days.
Since he's been
And if
married
I
to
ever have
Elizabeth
any
Taylor.
more publishing to do on any book, souvenir or otherwise, there must be somebody else. There must be. I mean,
I can only say, Mike, that since
And hang your head in
you have
shame.
married Elizabeth Taylor, your language has become so elegant.
elegant. I thought I was a very bad actor here. I thought you were so right. I thought you were so sure, and you should hang your head in shame. Really. I mean, I thought you were allowed to say Mr. Taylor or something. You know?
Well, Mike, I must say, if you
Well,
don't mind, it made
I'm
great
really
fun for
applaud.
us.
Thank
Thanks
you
a lot.
very
Nice
much.
to have you. Well, I must say, we didn't get very far fooling you that time, panel, blindfolds and all. Let's see what we can do now. Will our next challenger come in and sign in, please? Right there, please. Sign in. Jacqueline? Leap? Is it Miss or Mrs.?
It is Mrs.
Mrs. Leaf, where are you from?
Los Banos, California.
And where is Los Banos?
That is in the San Joaquin Valley.
Near San Francisco?
Well, it's between San Francisco and Fresno.
Oh, what?
Between the two highways, 101 and 99.
Well, wonderful places to be between. This is the panel, Mrs. Leaf. Panel. And now if you come here, please. And sit down here. Are you familiar with the way we keep score?
A little bit.
All right. Well, actually, all we have to know is that if you get no answers, we flip a card, and 10 no's, and you've won the game. All set? Let's let everybody at home and our friends here know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, Mrs. Leaf is salaried, and I think we ought to put Martin Gabel to work. Martin?
Great pleasure in this instance above all, John. Mrs. Leaf, do you deal in services?
Yes.
If I lived in California, could I avail myself of your services? Okay. Afraid my hairline is coming into question again, John. Do you talk to your clients?
Yes,
I assume they talk to you.
definitely. True.
If Arlene will forgive me for this question, you're terribly good looking, if I may say so.
Thank you, sir.
Do your looks have anything to do with what you do?
You mean specifically, are they necessary to the successful performance of the duty or service which is rendered?
Experience teaches me that I should say, no, that is not what I meant, but honor demands that I tell you, yes, that's exactly what I meant.
Martin, you're a very honorable man, and it cost you. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Then may I take it, Mrs. Leaf, that your talent or your mental ability is more important than your physical attractiveness?
That would be yes.
Yes, I would say that what we're really trying to make a point of, Dorothy, is that Mrs. Leaf's very apparent physical attractiveness
Doesn't do her any harm.
doesn't do her any harm, but is not necessary to the performance of the service. in which
Could
she
a
is
man
engaged.
do what you do?
Definitely.
Are men doing what you do?
Yes.
More men than women?
Yes.
Do you require any special education or training for what you do?
Not by our terms of reference, no. Although,
No degree.
as is true with almost anything that you engage in, you do need some training. Not the special kind of character of training that would require yes to that. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Leaf, not only are you lovely looking, but you're a very lissom lady, very well put together.
What, did you swallow a dictionary over the weekend?
This was
Your
not
polysyllables are catching on, John.
This was not an idle compliment. It was leading to my
I
query.
didn't know he knew polysyllable, Martin. Please.
I'd like to speak to him after the show.
Mrs. Leaf, have you got any special aptitude for some form of physical endeavor?
She is not digging you, bud.
Are you good at some game?
Time's up, John.
I would say this, Bennett, though you may consider subsequently that this is a matter for debate, that we have to consider that such physical activity as is necessary and required by the performance of this service is not so rare among the normal activities of humankind as to give it a special classification.
Not a motor car driver or anything of that sort.
I beg your pardon?
Not a golf professional or something.
No. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Mrs. Leaf, do you work for a profit-making organization?
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
You then work for a non-profit making organization.
That's correct.
Do you do your work outdoors more than indoors?
Yes.
Do you have to touch your clientele?
Sometimes.
Could it be said that you train them in some way?
No. That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you deal with people rather than animals?
Yes.
In other words, you are not a dog catcher or anything like that.
Don't say things like that. You give too much away.
Well, what did she say? I didn't hear it. Everybody was laughing.
Well, I think it's only
All
fair
right, if
since
it
the
would give it a-
remark has been made. Mrs. Leaf said sometimes she wonders. But
Sometimes she was what?
She wondered.
Sometimes she wonders.
Wondered. Oh.
Yes.
Do you, if you do not necessarily, oh, you sometimes touch them. Could the word pinch be used even in a
Yes.
remote way, as in a slangy way? Do you ever arrest anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a policeman? Police lady?
No, I don't think so.
Police lady or detective lady?
A detective?
Or policeman?
A policewoman or a detective? Actually, I tell you what, I'm going to flip all these anyway because we've had so much fun with Mr. Leaf, and you're about motorcycle cop is right, Bennett. That's good. Well, I must say, yes, now you can. You have fun?
Wonderful.
Well, we had lots of fun having you with us, and it's nice to have somebody all the way from California.
From Los Banos to...
Los Banos, and through Los Banos I will go with not a fear in my heart hereafter.
If you
I
don't
can get there.
stop, though.
We will stop.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Leaf. Nice to have you. Now, in just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest, but first here's Dick Stark with a guest of his own.
Indeed, I have, and a guest with a very curious occupation. His name is Jim Coburn, and Jim, would you mind telling our friends exactly what your line is?
Well, I'm a Van Dyke grower.
A Van Dyke grower. I think that calls for a bit of explanation. Would you like to elucidate?
Well, my job is to grow a Van Dyke and then shave it off with a Remington Rolectric shaver.
The new man-size Remington Rolectric. Now, of course, you did shave it off.
Oh, yes, you bet I did, and we have a film here to prove it.
Oh, shall we watch it then? There's Jim Coburn with his Van Dyke. Very handsome, too, I might say. And here, in a magnified close-up, is the new man-size Remington Rolectric going to work. Now, friends, as you know, an ordinary shaver takes several minutes to shave off just a day's growth of beard. But here, the Rolectric, because it has a larger live shaving area than any other shaving instrument, shaves off a month's growth of beard in a matter of moments. Look at that. Really clean. That heavy beard is all gone, and you've got a fine shave, Jim.
Oh, thank you, Dick.
Thank you very much for coming. Friends, that's an accomplishment in itself, but this new shaver can do even more than that. It can shave your hidden beard, the beard just below ordinary shaving level, in absolute comfort, and that's because it has these 4 polished chrome rollers. Now, the 2 outside rollers are actually roller combs that roll the skin down and comb those whiskers up into the shaving heads. And that way you can shave both your heavy beard and your hidden beard in absolute comfort with the new man-size Remington Rolectric, the only shaver with rollers. Why don't you prove this for yourself? Pick up a new Remington Rolectric. You'll find that most dealers will give you a giant $8.50 trade-in on any of the 5 nationally advertised electric shavers. You'll also find that your new man-size Remington Rolectric will give you
A pitch
of a shave.
And now we come to the special feature of our program for which I have to ask my friends on the panel once again to blindfold themselves. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
They are.
Good. Will you come in, Mystery Challenger, and sign in, please? In the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You will ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, beginning with Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a performer?
Mr. Cerf?
No, they wouldn't. Well, we've had one Todd on this program. Are you another member of the Todd family?
One down and 9 to go. Miss Francis?
I don't mean to be rude, but would I be correct in assuming you are not a singer?
Well, I'm sure, Miss Arlene, you mean this only in a professional way.
That's
the question
all.
will be answered.
It has been said so of me that I am not.
John Carlo Minotti.
Mr. Gabel?
Are you then an actress?
Are you then an actress?
It has been said so of me that maybe I am.
Miss Kilgallen? Miss Francis, contain yourself.
Would you
behave.
would you say that you have earned more money in motion pictures than on the legitimate stage?
Yeah.
Mr. Cerf?
But have you played on the Broadway stage?
A little bit.
Miss Francis?
Oh, she's a one. Are you in New York because you are associated with a picture that has either just opened or is about to open?
Yes, that's the truth.
Mr. Gabel?
Is it about to open rather than just open?
Yes, it is.
Miss Kilgallen?
What does that mean, yes, it is? About to open?
That's right. yes.
Oh. Ooh. Ooh, is there a psychiatrist in it?
Yes, there is.
Oh, you girl. Now you know who it is, Bennett.
I can't think of her name, so I pass.
Do it in unison.
Bennett won't admit to it because he's vaguely related to the young lady.
I'm afraid so.
Miss Francis?
It's Ginger Rogers.
That's right. And the picture, Oh Men, Oh Women. And I must say that if one is going to make exclamation points like Oh Men or Oh Women, I think they should after they see women like you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, John. Now, isn't that a lovely compliment? You must tell them that it's opening on Thursday this week.
It's opening on Thursday of this week.
Where, Ginger? At the Roxy. Thank you very much.
Oh, good.
Thought
Well,
you were
I
supposed
think-
to be in Boston tonight.
Hmm?
I thought you were going to be in
I told
Boston.
you I was going to Boston, didn't I, Bennett? I'm sorry I had to lie to you. I just didn't want you to catch me tonight, but darn it. Oh.
Well, actually, I must say this to make you feel. Bennett didn't do it, actually. It was done with Bennett's help, but it was the whole concatenation. I think the door was unlocked down around Mr. and Mrs. Gabel down there, so that if you can get through the door, just kick them, you know? That's the only thing to do.
So I go give them a kiss.
All
And
right.
I do like the way you sing, Ginger.
Thank you very much. The jury's still out about
Now,
that.
with a
Ginger,
wonderful
thank
plan,
you. It's
it'll be
wonderful
wonderful.
having you.
Very
Sorry,
much for
Martin.
inviting me.
All right. Panel, I must admit that you're confounding us at every turn tonight. Let's see if we can't confound you. Will our next challenger come in and sign in, please? Right there. Willem. Willem de Kempenaar. Is that right, sir? And, Mr. de Kempenaar, where are you from?
From Holland.
From Holland. That's wonderful. This is our panel, Mr. de Kempenaar from Holland. Will you come over here and join me, sir? I would think perhaps you're not familiar with our scoring system, so I will tell you that every time you can give the panel a no answer to their questions, we flip one card, 10 cards flipped, and you've won the game. Now let's let everybody in the theater and those who are with us at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, you have about 3 minutes to find out what Mr. de Kempenaar does. I will tell you he's self-employed, and let's begin with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. de Kempenaar, I was in Holland last year, and I'm very sorry I missed you. Are you involved in any kind of a product?
Yes, I am.
Is it a useful one?
Yes, very well.
Is it a product that we use and that is sold here in America?
No.
No, it is not a product that we use and is sold here in America. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Holland is a great diamond center. Is your business in any way connected with precious gems?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I just have a word from Martin. We use diamonds.
And you're the girl who ought to know it, too.
And I'm the girl that knows that it's possible, and Martin knows what he's talking about.
John, I don't think I'm coming out well here.
Martin, I just
Mr.
sit here and open
DeKempener.
mouth. I think you're winning the whole business. Miss Kilgallen?
Excuse us, Mr. DeKempener, for being so frivolous when you're obviously so serious, but this is a giddy program. The only thing I can think of that...
Don't worry. The panel is just a little pixelated tonight.
The only thing I can think of that they make and use in Holland that we don't use much over here is wooden shoes. Do you have anything to do with wooden shoes?
Sorry.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf. Now, I want here, and I think Mr. DeKempener will allow me to do this, to warn you that specifically the question was, does the product with which he is concerned have circulation in this country, and is it sold here? And the answer to that was no, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. DeKempner, might the product that you're involved with be sold to governments as well as to individuals?
It might be sold to governments, yes, not to individuals.
I said it might be sold to governments.
Yeah.
Could it be used in the waging of warfare?
No.
No, not specifically. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Mr. DeKempener, Holland is a place of canals. Does your work cover any part of the water?
No, definitely not.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Is it something that might be worn on the person, that masses of men might wear, for example?
No. No, I don't think we describe this as being worn. It's a great idea, but I don't think we're good at it. 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, is it rather expensive?
I throw in the towel. That's a very good question, and actually we've run out of time, and Mr. DeKempener is the head of the firm that prints money banknotes for Holland, and his family has been doing it for 254 years, the 8th generation. A wonderful record. Thank you very much, sir, for being out here. And
they
now
have a very sound economy over there, too, John.
And now until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Arlene.
Good night, John. It's all right if I say good night to John, isn't it,
Yes,
Martin?
indeed.
Good night, dear, for now.
Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Martin. Come again. It was fun. Good night, Bennett.
Not you diamond girl. Good night, John.
Good night. And Bennett, I think it's only fair to warn you that next week at this time you will be surrounded by lovely ladies. You'll not only have our 2 lovelies, Miss Kilgallen and Miss Francis, but Jeannie Carson will be here, too. So prepare yourself.
Hardly wait.
And good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network. Be sure to see Remington Rand's other great television program, Gunsmoke, Saturday night on this same network.